My name is Marcus Hale. I'm a 36-year-old long-haul truck driver based in Denver, Colorado. For the last 9 years, I've driven the same 412-mile route between Denver and Salt Lake City at least 4 times a month. I know every exit, every rest area, and every mile marker on I-70 and 80 like the back of my hand. On November 19, 2025, everything changed. It was 2:43 a.m. The temperature was 12 degrees Fahrenheit. My truck was running on fumes. The GPS said the next gas station was 38 miles away. I was already in the middle of nowhere in western Wyoming when I saw the lights. A single blue neon sign appeared on the right side of the highway. Midnight Fuel, open 24 hours. I had never seen this station before. I had driven this exact stretch of road hundreds of times. There was nothing here except empty fields and sagebrush. But the fuel gauge was blinking red, so I took the exit. The station looked old but strangely well kept. One pump. One small convenience store with bright fluorescent lights. An old man in a dark blue vest stood behind the counter. He didn't look surprised to see me. He looked like he had been expecting me. I filled the tank, walked inside, and placed 2 20s on the counter. The old man slowly counted the money and said in a calm, tired voice, "You're early tonight, Marcus. Most drivers don't show up until their last gallon." I froze. I had never told him my name. Before I could speak, he slid the receipt across the counter. On the back, written in neat black ink, were the words, "You have exactly 27 minutes. Don't buy the coffee. Don't use the bathroom. And whatever you do not look at the security monitor behind me." My heart started pounding. I forced a laugh and asked, "Is this some kind of prank?" The old man didn't smile. He just stared at me and whispered, "This is the 4th time you've stopped here this month. You just don't remember the other 3 visits." I grabbed the receipt and walked out as fast as I could. As I was getting back into my truck, my phone rang. A known number. I answered. A voice that sounded exactly like mine, but exhausted and terrified, said, "Marcus, if you're hearing this, it means you're still alive right now. Do not go back inside. The version of you that dies tonight is trying to warn you." The call ended. I looked in the rearview mirror. The old man was standing at the door of the store, watching me. He raised one hand and waved slowly, like he was saying goodbye. I drove away at full speed. When I looked back after 2 miles, the entire gas station had vanished. Only empty highway and darkness behind me. That was the beginning. Over the next 12 nights, the same thing happened at almost the exact same time and location. The station would appear out of nowhere when my truck was nearly empty. Each time, the old man would say something more disturbing. Night 4, "She's waiting for you in the bathroom again. Don't go in." Night 7, "The coffee is poisoned. This time it's slower. You won't feel it until morning." Night 9, he handed me a Polaroid photo of myself lying dead on the floor of the store, eyes wide open, blood coming from my ears. The timestamp on the photo was dated tomorrow night. Each time I tried to drive past it, each time the station still appeared. On the 13th night, I decided to test it. I filled the tank but refused to enter the store. I paid at the pump with my card. The old man still walked out. He stood under the flickering neon light and spoke loudly enough for me to hear through the closed window. "You can't run forever, Marcus. The road always ends here. It always has." Then he pointed behind my truck. In the mirror, I saw a second identical truck parked right behind me. The driver was me, but his eyes were completely black, and he was smiling the same way I smile when I'm nervous. I floored the accelerator. The second truck followed me for exactly 27 miles before disappearing into the darkness. The next morning, I pulled into a truck stop in Salt Lake City and called the Wyoming Highway Patrol. I asked if there had ever been a gas station called Midnight Fuel at mile marker 187 on I-80. The officer laughed and said, "Son, there's nothing out there but empty land. There hasn't been a gas station at that mile marker since 1994, when the owner and his only night attendant both disappeared without a trace. I haven't driven at night since that trip, but every single night at 2:43 a.m., my phone lights up with a text from an unknown number. The message is always the same. The station is waiting for you again, Marcus? You still have 3 nights left. And every night, the number of nights left decreases by 1. Tonight the message says, 1 night left. I don't know what happens when it reaches 0, but I can feel it coming.
My name is Lena Moreau. I'm 29 years old and I live in Chicago. At least, I used to. In early March 2026, I was desperate for a new place. My old apartment building was being torn down, and I only had 2 weeks to find something. I scrolled through every listing on Zillow until I found a 1-bedroom in the Logan Square neighborhood for $1,050 a month. Almost $400 below market price. The ad said recently renovated, quiet building available immediately. I went to view it the same afternoon. The landlord, an older man named Mr. Delgado, met me at the door. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept well in weeks. He handed me the keys without asking for any paperwork and said, "Unit 4B. 2nd floor. Take your time." The moment I stepped inside, I felt something off. Not bad, just watched. The apartment was beautiful. Hardwood floors, big windows, fresh paint. But it smelled faintly like someone had just cooked dinner even though it was empty. I shrugged it off. That night I signed the lease electronically and moved in the next day with just my suitcase and my cat Milo. The first strange thing happened on the 3rd night. I was half asleep on the couch when I heard my name spoken clearly in the dark. Lena. It wasn't loud. It was soft, almost affectionate, like someone calling me from the next room. I sat up. Milo was staring at the hallway, ears flat against his head. I checked every room. Nothing. The next morning I found a small sticky note on my bathroom mirror. It was written in neat handwriting I didn't recognize. "Welcome home, Lena. I've been waiting for you." I laughed nervously and threw it away. I told myself it must have been left by the previous tenant. But that night the voice came again. This time it was right beside my bed. "Lena, you left the stove on again." I bolted upright. The stove was off. I had not cooked anything that day. On the 5th night things escalated. I woke up at 3:12 a.m. to the sound of someone typing on my laptop. The screen was on even though I had shut it down. The document open was titled, "Lena Moreau, Final Entry." It was written in first person, describing my day in perfect detail. Things I had done, thoughts I had, even a private conversation I had with my mother on the phone earlier that evening. The last line read, "She still doesn't understand that she's not the first Lena to live here." I closed the laptop and slept with the lights on. The next day I went to the management office and asked about the previous tenant of 4B. The woman at the desk looked uncomfortable. "Mr. Delgado doesn't like us talking about it," she said quietly. "The last tenant, her name was also Lena. She lived here for 11 months and then she disappeared. Police found her car in the parking lot but never found her. That was 2 years ago." I felt ice run down my spine. That night I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch with every light on, recording on my phone. At 3:12 a.m. the voice returned, clearer this time. "Lena, why are you still fighting this? The others accepted it faster." I whispered back, voice shaking, "Who are you?" The voice answered immediately, gentle and sad. "I'm the apartment. I remember every tenant who ever died here. And you're next." From that night on, the apartment started showing me things. I would wake up and find my clothes folded in the exact way the previous Lena used to fold them. My coffee mug would be in the sink with lipstick marks that weren't mine. My phone would show missed calls from numbers that didn't exist. One morning I found a photo on my phone that I never took. It was me standing in the living room, but my eyes were closed and my head was tilted at an unnatural angle. Behind me, faintly visible in the reflection of the window, was another version of me, smiling. The caption on the photo, written in the Notes app, read, "This is how it ends for all of us here." I tried to move out. I packed my bags, called a friend, told him I was coming to stay with him. When I opened the front door to leave, I was standing back inside the living room again, bags still packed as if I had never left. The door had never opened. Mr. Delgado called me that afternoon. His voice was shaking. "Miss Moreau, please stop trying to leave. The last Lena tried the same thing. It only makes it worse." I asked him what the hell was going on. He was quiet for a long time before he said, "This building doesn't rent apartments. It collects people. And once it learns your name, it never forgets." I haven't left the apartment in 9 days now. Every night at 3:12 a.m. the voice returns and tells me stories about the other Lenas who lived here before me. How they fought. How they cried. How they eventually accepted it. Last night the voice said something new. You're the 7th Lena I've had. The others lasted between 11 and 14 months. You're already at month 2. I asked it what happens at the end. It answered softly. You become part of the building. And then you wait for the next Lena to move in, so you can welcome her home. I'm writing this now because I need someone to know. If you ever see an apartment listing that seems too good to be true, especially in an old building in a big city, check the previous tenants' names. If any of them had the same first name as you, don't move in, because the apartment already knows you. And it's been waiting. My name is Rachel Kim. I'm 34 years old and I work the night shift as a radiologist at Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago. For the last 6 years I've walked the same route home every night. Down Michigan Avenue, cut through the small park behind the old post office, then 3 blocks to my apartment building. On March 22, 2026, I took that walk for the last time. It was 3:08 a.m. I had just finished a brutal 14-hour shift. My head was pounding and I was out of ibuprofen. I remembered there was a 24-hour pharmacy 2 blocks ahead that I had never noticed before. The sign was small and old-fashioned, all-night pharmacy, we never close. I pushed the door open. A soft bell rang. Inside it smelled like old wood, antiseptic, and something sweet I couldn't place. The shelves were neatly stocked but everything looked slightly outdated, the kind of packaging you saw in the early 2000s. Behind the counter stood a middle-aged pharmacist in a white coat. His name tag read Mr. Harlan. He smiled at me like we were old friends. Good evening, Rachel. You're a little early tonight, but that's all right. Your prescription is already prepared. I had never met this man. I had never been in this pharmacy. I laughed nervously and said, I think you have the wrong person. I just need some ibuprofen. Mr. Harlan didn't blink. He reached under the counter and placed a small white paper bag in front of me. My full name was printed on the label in neat handwriting, along with today's date and the words, take 1 every 4 hours until the end. Inside the bag was a single bottle of pills. The label read, Rachel Kim, terminal dose. Do not refill. My hands started shaking. I asked him what the hell this was. He looked at me with calm, sad eyes and said softly, This is your 7th visit this month, Rachel. You just don't remember the other 6 times. I backed away toward the door. The bell rang again as I pushed it, but the door wouldn't open. It was locked from the outside. Mr. Harlan sighed and said, You always try to leave at this point. It never works the first 6 times. Maybe tonight will be different. He turned around and pulled a thick binder from the shelf behind him. On the cover was my photo, the same ID photo I use at the hospital. He opened it and started reading out loud in a gentle voice. March 22, 2026. Rachel arrives at 3:08 a.m. complaining of headache. She will refuse the medicine again. He will try to run. She will fail. I felt my stomach drop. He flipped to the next page and continued. March 23, 2026. Rachel returns. He's crying. She takes the first pill tonight. I screamed at him to stop. He closed the binder gently and looked at me. Rachel, you died 3 weeks ago in a car accident on Lakeshore Drive. You just haven't accepted it yet. This pharmacy is only for people who are still walking around after they're supposed to be gone. I ran to the back of the store looking for another exit. Every aisle I passed had my name on the labels. Rachel Kim, pain medication. Rachel Kim, final regrets. Rachel Kim, things you never told your mother. In the very last aisle I found a small mirror. I looked into it. My reflection was smiling. But I wasn't. The reflection raised one hand and waved at me slowly, the same way you wave goodbye to someone you know you'll never see again. I smashed the mirror with my fist. When I looked down there was no blood. Only a small white pill lying in my palm with the words, "Take me" written on it. When I turned around, Mr. Harlan was standing right behind me. He wasn't smiling anymore. Most people take the pill on the 7th visit, he said quietly. Some fight for months, but eventually they all understand. This pharmacy doesn't sell medicine. It helps people finish dying. I begged him to let me go. He shook his head. You already died, Rachel. The only reason you're still here is because you keep refusing to accept the last page of your story. The longer you fight, the more painful the final chapter becomes. I woke up the next morning in my own bed. My phone showed dozens of missed calls from my colleagues at the hospital. The news was playing on the TV I didn't remember turning on. Breaking. Local radiologist Rachel Kim killed in early morning car accident on Lakeshore Drive. Police believe she fell asleep at the wheel after a long night shift. I looked at the date on my phone. It was March 23, 2026. The day after I was supposed to have died. I haven't left my apartment in 12 days. Every night at 3:08 a.m. my phone lights up with a notification from an unknown app called All Night Pharmacy. The message is always the same. Your prescription is ready, Rachel. Room 4 is waiting. Only 3 nights left until you finally take the pill. I know what the pill does. It makes you remember that you're already gone. And once you take it, the pharmacy closes for you forever. I can hear the soft bell ringing right now, even though I'm on the 7th floor and there is no pharmacy in this building. It's getting closer.
I truly appreciate you spending your time here at True Dread Stories 101. We dive deep into the mysteries that many are too afraid to face, and I promise you, our journey into the unexplained is only just beginning. If you don't want to miss the chilling chapters ahead, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to have you with us as we uncover the truth behind the dread. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you very soon in our next haunting story.